One of the biggest threats to you retiring successfully is lifestyle creep. I am not talking about a creepy lifestyle, okay? But I'm talking about lifestyle creep. I'll explain what that is and how to prevent it coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Cohorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. So I'm reading a financial article the other day, and the author is talking about lifestyle creep. Now, guys, listen, that is a little funny, but years and years ago, as we're serving clients here at Cohorn Financial Group, I noticed something, which I'm going to explain here in just a moment. And as I was kind of communicating this with some clients, I called it lifestyle creep. And I'm telling you, I was the first one to use that phrase for this reason. And I hadn't seen it in any mainstream financial news until this week, talking about lifestyle creep. So I should have trademarked it, okay? But this is not a creepy lifestyle. It's lifestyle creep. Let me explain what that is. So in a perfect world, throughout your career, your income starts low because you don't have as much experience, you're still learning, but because of inflation and because your skills are increasing and you're getting better at your job and you're helping your company, your income is rising steadily over your career, okay? Early on in life, your expenses are rising as well because, like I said, inflation, but also because you're adding kids and you're expanding your house and you now don't want to drive a beater anymore, you want to drive a nice vehicle. And so over time, early on, as your income is growing, again, in a perfect world, doesn't work this way for everyone, but in a perfect world, your income is growing, your expenses are growing right along with it, sometimes even a little bit higher than the way your income is growing, okay? Until all of a sudden, that stops. All of a sudden, your expenses plateau or they even drop significantly. Why? Because most families' second largest expense is childcare, and that's gone, okay? That's gone, okay? But then you're helping with college, and all of a sudden, the kids are out of college. The kids are out of the house. No more travel sports, no more, no more paying for their cell phone, no more paying for their car insurance. And, obviously they made your car insurance more expensive and then all of a sudden they're off your car insurance completely. No more buying their vehicles, right? Maybe your mortgage is paid off, which is typically your biggest expense. And so all of a sudden your income's been rising, your expenses have been rising right along with it, and then all of a sudden your expenses stop rising or they drop because you've paid off the mortgage, you're an empty nester, the kids are out of the house. Financially, you can relax. So what happens? All of a sudden, instead of your income plateauing as well, your income keeps rising for those years that you're an empty nester or debt-free, but your expenses, instead of going down, that lifestyle then starts filling in that gap. I call that lifestyle creep. Sorry for the terrible illustration here, but instead of your expenses going down or plateauing and all of a sudden you've got a bunch of savings, you then fill that in with extra luxuries. And this happens to all of us. I'm not saying that you shouldn't increase your standard of living or your lifestyle as you can afford to do so. Here's the risk. Here's why this is a problem. All throughout this time as you're preparing for retirement, if you're looking and saying, well, yeah, my income is this, but we really spend this because this gap is kids and this gap is college and this gap is mortgage, and therefore in retirement, we're not going to need to spend this. We're going to need to spend something less. And then in that final stage, those final 5 years before retirement, those final 10 years, those final couple years while you're an empty nester with no mortgage, all of a sudden your lifestyle, your tastes creep up to this. But your retirement plan, your retirement expectation was all built on you spending less. That's a problem. And because our taste buds, because our habits, because our lifestyle is hard to adjust and you don't want to adjust it down, you can suddenly find yourself underprepared or completely unprepared for retirement because of this lifestyle creep. Does this make sense? Is it common? Is it sort of understood that, yeah, I'm hoping to be debt-free a couple years before I retire. I'm hoping the kids are out of the house, aren't the Huxtables. They're out of the house and they're on their own financially for a couple years. We're empty nesters before we retire. Or hopefully you excel at your job so much that your income goes up significantly and now you've got a bunch of discretionary income. The point is, how do you harness that and have it be an accelerant to your financial success as opposed to a sneaky way of creating some financial challenges for you in retirement? So what's the plan? How do you manage this lifestyle creep so that it doesn't become a detriment to your overall financial success? Well, there's a couple ways that you can manage it. And number one, I would instantly reassign the purpose of those dollars. So if those dollars previously had a purpose in your financial life of mortgage or college savings or travel baseball, travel sports, whatever, health insurance for the family, right before the kids dropped off, or auto insurance, if it previously had an assignment, a role to play, come up with a new role, okay? If you don't declare this is what the job is for these dollars, then it's gonna be very easy for that lifestyle to creep up. I would assign those dollars a new purpose, and to me, I would assign them to something that helps you have more financial independence. Now again, if you're eating beans and rice or ramen noodles every meal and you need some some adapting in your lifestyle, great. But if you're living comfortably and you're trying to make those kind of that final progress in that retirement push, then I would reassign those dollars to either max out your retirement plan, max out a Roth IRA, save into a non-IRA account. If you're not yet debt-free, have those dollars be redirected, those freed up dollars, have those be redirected and pay extra on your mortgage. Do something to reassign those dollars to help you achieve financial independence as opposed to letting them just kind of slosh around in the checking account until they get absorbed from a discretionary purchase or a little splurge. Another way to capture these dollars is to update the budget. I know it's extremely unpopular at age 57 or 58 or 55 when you're making more money you've ever made and you have more financial independence than you've ever felt to update a budget. Why would you do that? That was for when I was in my 20s and 30s. I don't have a spending problem. I know you don't. That is the time to figure out how much goal achievement money do you actually have. Let's fill in the budget, how much money is coming in every month, okay? And then what's your lifestyle? How much do you spend at the grocery store? How much do you spend going out to eat? How much should you set aside for vacations, all that sort of stuff? And let's be honest, let's be real. Don't be shy or bashful about it. Be honest, how much do you spend? Okay, now how much is left? And then from there, that's where updating the budget at this stage of life, you can say, yeah, we actually want to go out to eat more. Actually, we want to go on more vacations. Fine, carve it into the budget, and then you can see, yep, we've got X amount left. Therefore, we're going to start saving X amount into this area or start doing the Roth, something like that. So this is a good time when you're empty nesters, when all of a sudden you've got some freed up discretionary cash flow, update that budget. And then finally, I'd recalibrate with your CFP. I'd recalibrate, okay, we've got some extra discretionary dollars. What's the best purpose for these? Likely they will help you prioritize those goals and where you can put those dollars, but they might also introduce or remind you of some new upcoming expenses that you hadn't planned on before. One of those could be handling some of the big risks in your financial life. Like, hey, we've got to update the estate plan. Hey, we need to get a trust in place. Hey, we haven't talked about this growing risk of needing to go into a nursing home or needing care out there in the future. Let's talk about how to solve that, something like that. They're not going to come up with ways for you to just blow this money, okay? And it's got to fit all within your overall financial plan. But there are some new expenses or some new financial priorities that your CFP might be thinking about that you're going to want to have awareness on while you're deciding what should we do with these new discretionary dollars. Your CFP isn't just some investment salesperson or insurance salesperson, they're a fiduciary. They know your entire financial life, your financial goals, and their job is to try to get you from where you are to achieving those financial goals with the least amount of stress and risk possible. So they're not just going to tell you you've got to do some insurance or some investment or whatever it is, something you don't need. They're going to recommend things that are in your best interest to help you get from where you are to where you're trying to go. So recalibrate. This is a great time to recalibrate with your CFP. So don't live a creepy lifestyle. Don't have lifestyle creep, all right? And as kind of geeky and dorky as that sounds, not even funny, it's real. We see it happen, and at times right now when there's lots of inflation, more money sloshing around the economy than ever before, I think it's typical. Plus we have rising costs at the grocery store and for houses and for vehicles and all that stuff. Work with your certified financial planner, and that final kind of 10 yards or a couple years before retirement, capture those dollars instead of just having them default into increased lifestyle and the risk that can pose. So work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP, contact one on my team. You can find us online, korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K, wisemoneyshow.com, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.